In the vastness of the Arabian desert exists a kingdom, rich in history that spans millennia. Join us as we explore Saudi Arabia, its people, and its culture. The earliest civilizations to have inhabited the Arabian Peninsula are thought to have lived there between 15,000 to 20,000 years ago. They were hunter-gatherers. But as the polar ice caps melted and disappeared, so did the animals and the greenery. The peninsula soon became a desert. The rivers turned into wadis, and the grasslands gave way to shrublands. Soon, many of the hunter-gatherers turned their sights towards the richer valleys and mountains and became farmers. This development led to other advancements, such as pottery and animal domestication. Because of its ideal location, the Arabian Peninsula soon became a crossroad of trade for many civilizations. Despite being mostly desert, the presence of trade caravans eventually enabled the establishment of a permanent human presence in the area. Many products and materials made their way through the peninsula, but one specific product was more important than others: spices, most of which were shipped from India and made their way across the peninsula to the west. As such, the Arabian Peninsula became an important location for a myriad of civilizations: the Babylonians, Greeks, and even the Romans. The most significant event that happened in the Arabian Peninsula is the birth of Islam. In the year 610, Muhammad of Makkah received a message from God through the angel Gabriel, and from then on grew the religion of Islam. By the 8th century, the Islamic Empire expanded further and further, integrating more and more territories into its fold. It even managed to expand as far as Spain to the west and India and China to the east. Consistently, the crossroads of the Old World, trade flourished in the peninsula and, consequently, the Islamic Empire. Because of its religious significance, large numbers of pilgrims went in droves to the holy cities in the peninsula. These pilgrims, who came from far and wide, introduced an exchange of ideas and cultures. And soon after, Arabic became the dominant language spoken in and around the peninsula and other parts of the empire. Due to the influx of foreigners and people with differing backgrounds, the empire reached a golden age where the sciences thrived and trade prospered. That is, until the 17th century, when the empire broke up into smaller kingdoms. In the early 18th century, a Muslim scholar and reformer named Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab began advocating a return to the original form of Islam. Abdul Wahhab was, at first, persecuted by local religious scholars and leaders who viewed his teachings as a threat. He sought protection in the town of Diriyah, which was ruled by Muhammad bin Saud. The two formed an agreement, dedicating themselves to restoring the teachings of Islam to their community. In 1727, bin Saud established the first Saudi state. Bin Abdul Wahhab was henceforth known as the Sheikh. By 1788, the Saudi state ruled over the entire central plateau known as the Najd. By the early 19th century, its rule extended to most of the Arabian Peninsula, including Makkah and Medina. But this Saudi state caught the attention of the Ottomans to the north. Wary of other burgeoning empires, the Ottomans sent an expeditionary force in 1818 to Arabia, razed Diriyah to the ground, and ended the first Saudi state. The Al Saud family managed to regain control of the region in 1824. The Saudi ruler, Turki bin Abdullah Al Saud, transferred his capital to Riyadh. He was able to retake most of the territories captured by the Ottomans. The second Saudi state was defined by its peace and prosperity. This was until 1865, when another Ottoman excursion towards the Arabian Peninsula took place. The ruler, Abdul Rahman bin Faisal al Saud, was forced to abandon his struggle in 1891 after a rival family, the Al-Rashid, took over the kingdom with help from the Ottomans. The Al Saud family traveled to Kuwait as refugees until 1902, but his young son, Abdulaziz, was already making his mark as a young leader. With the goal of regaining his patrimony from the Al-Rashids, young Abdulaziz marched into Riyadh in 1902, accompanied by 40 followers to retake the garrison. This marks the formation of the first modern Saudi state. The young warrior established Riyadh as his headquarters, captured the entirety of the Hijaz between 1924 and 1925, and united all the tribes into one state. On September 23, 1932, the country was renamed into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. According to the World Bank, the GDP of Saudi Arabia is valued at $1.1 trillion. It is one of the richest countries in the Middle East. The economy of the country boomed in the 1970s and 80s. Vast quantities of natural oil reserves were discovered in 1938, which significantly helped the young country establish a foothold in the oil export industry. However, the Second World War curtailed this expansion. But by 1945, a rapid expansion of the oil industry followed the end of the war. To this day, Saudi Arabia ranks first in terms of oil reserves. Agriculture is virtually non-existent due to the geography of the peninsula. There is a level of self-sufficiency in the production of wheat. For the most part, the majority of agriculture in the country revolves around the domestication of farm animals. The national flag of Saudi Arabia, known as the Al-Alam, features a green field with white Arabic inscriptions and a sword beneath the inscription. The Arabic inscription on the flag is the Shahada, the Islamic creed, which states, "There is no deity but God. Muhammad is the messenger of God." This phrase is central to Islamic belief and represents the foundational declaration of faith in Islam. The color green holds significant historical and cultural importance. It was chosen by the Wahhabi movement in the 18th century during their efforts to unify the various tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. Green is also traditionally associated with Islam and is believed to symbolize paradise. Additionally, it is linked to Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, further enhancing its religious significance. The sword depicted on the flag represents justice and strength, reflecting the values of the nation. It underscores the importance of justice in governance and the protection of the country. Overall, the flag of Saudi Arabia encapsulates the country's religious heritage, historical unity, and commitment to justice. The capital of Saudi Arabia is Riyadh and has a total land area of around 2.1 million square kilometers or 800,000 square miles. It is bordered by Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. The area of Saudi Arabia is located within the Arabian Desert. There is little to no grassland, and major rivers are scarcely, if ever, found, excepting the Wadi al-Ruma, which is 600 kilometers long. The highest point in Saudi Arabia is located at Jabal Sauda, which stands at 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet above sea level. Despite the hostile environment, a number of fauna still call the Arabian Desert their home. These include the Arabian oryx, Arabian red fox, Nubian ibex, and Arabian sand gazelle. Saudi Arabia has a total population of about 37 million inhabitants, a staggering 90% of whom are ethnically Arabs. Arabic culture is primarily defined by its strict adherence to the Islamic law. Public discussions on domestic events are largely frowned upon. There are no political parties or labor unions. Many Arabs are known for their kinship, most especially patrilineal kinship. As such, extended families still have a strong bond amongst each other. Being a very traditional society, many Arabs also still dress in a very traditional way. Saudi Arabia is relatively known for its diverse cuisine because of its background as a crossroads for different cultures in the past. Despite that, here are some appetizing dishes you can try. First off, we have the national dish of the country, kabsa, made from basmati rice, meat, and veggies. Blended with spices, one can feel full from the aroma alone. Another dish you can try is jarish, an Arab version of the simple man's porridge. Made from cracked wheat, it is a symbol of Saudi resourcefulness, and a dish that is historical as it is delicious, haris. Made from ground wheat and meat, typically chicken or lamb, this dish has been a staple in Arab cuisine for centuries. Saudi Arabia is also home to a number of famous people. You might know some of them. First off, we have the first king of Saudi Arabia, who united all the warring tribes of the region, King Abdulaziz ibn Saud. For the football fans, we have Ahmed Jamil Madani, considered to be one of the best Arab defensive players of all time. Lastly, American-born Ibtihaj Muhammad, who was the first American athlete to wear a hijab while competing. If you enjoyed this video on Saudi Arabia, you'll love this next one.